They are the restaurants that we cherish and hold a special place in our hearts, where warm and welcoming staff greet us with a smile and make us feel like cherished guests. These are the establishments that whisk us away on a culinary adventure, and no detail is overlooked in offering extraordinary dining experiences. It is where we choose to toast our achievements and celebrate milestones with our loved ones. They are the distinguished restaurants of North America, and every DiRōNA has a story. Meet Chef Mark Kiffin, an award-winning chef and owner of the Compound Restaurant in Santa Fe, New Mexico. With over 2 decades of culinary excellence, Chef Mark has transformed the Compound into a landmark for refined Southwestern cuisine, blending regional flavors with a contemporary twist. His dedication to quality, artistry, and innovation has made the Compound one of Santa Fe's most revered dining destinations. Chef Mark's passion for his craft is evident in every dish, and his influence on the local culinary scene is unmatched. Welcome everyone to another episode of Every DiRōNA Has a Story. And we've got a special episode today. With me all the way from Santa Fe, New Mexico is chef and owner of the Compound Restaurant. With me, Chef Mark Kiffin. Mark, thanks for joining me today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So the Compound Restaurant, I know you've been the owner now. We're celebrating 25 years this year. You've been a chef for 45 years. Tell me a bit about how your career started.
A long time ago. I was probably one of the first, the only dishwasher in my neighborhood that decided to get in the restaurant business the hard way. And I've never forgotten it, but still I took a long path through being a dishwasher, but then I went to the culinary, and that's when it really started to click for me that food was going to be my life. And I went to the Culinary Institute in Hyde Park, New York, and graduated in 1982 with some other leaders in the food business that are still out there and friends of mine, and then started in hotels and did a number of openings. I was from Colorado, and I went back there and did a number of openings with some hotel properties and some small restaurants before I started to connect with some key people and working with them in stints that kind of led me to my path now, and led me into Santa Fe with Mark Miller in 1990. And that was through the Arizona Biltmore with his friend, John Macon. So in the old days, when you needed, there was no internet, there was a phone, but basically no email. So when you needed a sous chef or a chef or someone to come help, you asked your friends. And Mark Miller was connected with Alice Waters and Larry Forgione and Jonathan Waxman, all dear friends. And when you needed somebody, you went to find them through your friends. And that's kind of how my path really came about to lead me to Santa Fe.
Fantastic. And then the Compound Restaurant, 25 years in Santa Fe. How did that opportunity come out?
Well, I was really looking forward because I had come to Santa Fe earlier for a short amount of time back in '87, and when town was really rolling a little bit, Mark Miller was opening up the Coyote, and it was a special time in this part of the country. But it really came to fruition that, like I said, he made a phone call. I came out and did a stint with him, and 3 weeks later, I was living in this town. And I did that from 90 to 98. And then basically we had grown to a good part in our relationship and the business and things like that. I had owned Santa Fe, Las Vegas, Texas, in Austin and stuff. I've ran restaurants for him in Red Sage in DC. But it was time for me to try to, do something for myself. And I kind of looked around the country. I helped Dallas and Stephen Piles open in the Venetian in Vegas. I did a stint in Philadelphia with Stephen Starr and tried to help him out. I opened up Budokan, back then. So different things. But I was drawn back to Santa Fe with then my old partner from the Coyote Cafe, and we looked at the compound. And the compound then to where it is now was very, very, very different. It was a large restaurant, which is something that we were kind of used to. We were used to volume, so we just didn't need 40 or 60 seats. We really wanted, the compound has basically, 150, and it can grow to over 200 with different dining rooms, especially with patio seating in the summertime. So I looked at that, and it just, our deal kind of came together with some other people who helped us out. And along that path in the last 25 years, I'm now down to myself. They've all moved along, and I've stayed here and continued to grow the brand and grow the business. And Santa Fe has been my home for over 30 years now. And it seems like in some ways it's gone fast, and there's other times when I've seen 9/11 at the compound. I've seen the crash with housing, the pandemic. That was a new one. We never thought that was going to come, but went through all that and survived them all. And the restaurant is only continuing to stay very, very fluid and very, it has a very good relevance. It's really remarkable how the compound, with its history and things like that, has continued to stay relevant in the history. And we've also, along with DiRōNA, which was a huge honor for us this year, we were nominated as one of the top 5 restaurants in the country, nominated as one of the 5, and trying to get the Outstanding Restaurant Award from James Beard. So we're still playing at a high level and hitting our marks even after a couple of decades. And having fun doing it. I mean, that's the other thing. I mean, food is fun. I mean, you really have to, there's a lot of hard things in the restaurant business, the hours of staffing, or, there's always something. But, you don't get into this business, this isn't my hobby. This is my life's work. And we really, you continue to go in every day, and food is something that's always exciting to you. And when you're getting the joy of the table with your guests and your friends and family and things like that, that has never changed. That's why I got into the business, the love of the industry, the love of, the history. And we're bilingual everywhere in the world. There's food everywhere. I've traveled all over the world. I've taught cooking classes and done stages in Asia and North Africa and Mexico. And food is always, it doesn't have to be a language. It's just, what are you doing? What am I doing? Tastes, what's exciting. So I can go anywhere. And there's always food.
So true. You mentioned the word exciting, which I think is a great word to represent your menu. Your menu is exceptional. Tell us a little bit about, and very true to New Mexico roots, I believe. Tell us a little bit about your current menu.
Well, the interesting thing when I started, when I looked at the compound, and everybody thought I was still going to do like Coyote Cafe and Southwestern food, which is what Santa Fe is really known for. But that's everywhere. And I had done that. So I said, this building is historical. This building has a Mediterranean restaurant, more French, influenced food than before. And I'm like, I can't come in here and just do what I did before. So I said, instead of just doing just French or Italian, I would just let's have a Mediterranean style menu. And Santa Fe was founded by the Spanish over 400 years ago. So there are correlations of historical food and from Spain and from Europe here. So it makes sense. It's not just it's not a fad or a trend. It's historical, anthropological. So I wanted to cook, basically have a little bit larger menu, but go through the season. So every 90 days we've changed the menu. So 4 times a year we go seasonal, and we're well over 100 menu cycles now. Most people don't change that many, they've created that many dishes, but not that many seasons. So every 90 days, spring, summer, winter, fall, we make a change. And Santa Fe is very fortunate to have seasons like that. We're 400 miles due south of Denver. We're at 7,200 feet, highest capital in the United States, and we are in the mountains. But we get hot summers, 90, 100 degrees. There's no humidity, but we have a ski basin right up above us, so we get snow that starts around October, and it leaves us in about April. But beautiful summer. Santa Fe is known for its summer climate, just kind of like a lot of the mountain towns are doing. You'll see now that Aspen and Telluride and Vail are just as relevant or almost as busy, or if not busier, then Christmas and around the snow time. And Santa Fe has a wonderful Christmas season. It has lots of art festivals in the summertime, which we're in now. Indian Market is this week. It's the busiest week of the year. And yet we have the season. So, soon in October, we'll be going to fall. And then you get all the fall flavors and all the pears and apples and ciders and braising and things like that begin. And you leave summer. You leave corn and tomatoes and farmers market items and things like that. They're a little fresher and warmer weather. So that's the joy of how the menu works. And I think that's why people enjoy the compound so much, is because they know there are certain dishes, there are certain traditional, or how to say, house specialties that don't change, but we do change seasonally, and they want to come for that. They know because when the menu is going, they're like, by the time October comes around, it's like, okay, Mark, we've had enough corn and enough tomatoes. We've had all the summer flavors. Let's get into the next thing. And they know that because we're a very local restaurant. I mean, we are in a former home, and it is in a neighborhood on a street that is connected, not only residential, but galleries and things like that. So we are in an area where they walk, and our neighbors and our guests walk to us, and it's important. So we really are, steadfast in our, we take care of, I don't like to say tourists, our visitors. Our visitors are very important to us. We get a number of them throughout the year. We're known for our now movie industry, which is huge. We're the third largest state. Obviously, California and Hollywood, New York, crime dramas in the city. But then New Mexico is a state that's taking on some of the largest movie making, and has been for a couple of decades. And so we get a lot of celebrities that come in town. They love to come to the restaurant because they know we're not going to take their picture. And we're going to leave them alone and let them be who they are. And we love it. And so the compound is a sanctuary in some ways of a place where they can also enjoy not just the food and their company, but they also, they know that, we're going to be there year after year. It makes a difference to them.
No doubt. Your wine list, I mean, it's something that you've certainly curated over the years. And I'm assuming dealing with a menu that changes every 90 days too, that had to put some thought into the selection for wines in that. Your wine list is exceptional. Tell us a little bit about what went behind the selections and how you keep it vibrant with a seasonal menu change.
Thank you. We are now up to the Best of Award from Wine Spectator, so we have the next level. Over 525 selections is our normal capacity, with over 24 wines by the glass. And the wines by the glass is really where you have a little bit more of our taste fluctuations as far as the different times of the season. Obviously by the bottles and things like that we have a number of selections, and we've expanded over the course of the year to where we find new wines in Sicily or Sardinia, Corsica, and things like that. There are really some wonderful food wines that are out there. It isn't just picking a name and it's just big and chewy and something like this, or it's famous. We have a lot of those things, and yet we don't have the majority of those. It's not it's more of a Bordeaux Cabernet driven than it is California Cabernet driven. A lot of Burgundy because I like it, and it's also more the flavors that I love, and they work well and they age well. And the same thing for Oregon. We love Oregon wines. Oregon Chardonnay, Oregon Pinot are just some exceptional food wines that are coming out right now that are just really work within what we're doing. And we have a number of guests that have retired, or even though they're maybe not retirement age, but now they live here. And they are a big part of our wine program. They're a big part of they can come. We do lunch and dinner. We're open 6 days. We're closed on Sunday. And so Monday through Saturday, we do doubles, lunch and dinner every day. And our lunch is something that we're really known for but it is, I want to say the New York martini lunch, but they're not going back to work. They want to sit and enjoy their food. They want to enjoy their friends. And at the same time, they know each other. And we get a lot of vibrancy in the dining room with people who are it's community driven. So those wines, how we fluctuate throughout the year, provide something as a service to all of our guests. You know, people will come in to just there's large format, there's celebration, there's celebratory things, but it's more about finding flavors that may be new to them or things that they can't. And New Mexico's a hard place. Sometimes our wines we can't get everything like Las Vegas or Dallas or New York because they're not available. They're not allocated to New Mexico. So I think we do an exceptional job with kind of a small town and a smaller state. I mean, there's only a little over 3 million people in the entire state of New Mexico, and we're one of the largest land masses. So, we have both. We have what we need to do for our guests, and we also have find some wines that come in and some really fun flavors that are great for people to enjoy, and affordability. It's not just small dollars and then giant things. It has to be a working list. Let's think about wine. You got to sell it. It has to move. It's aging. It's just to have a bunch of names and things that don't ever leave doesn't work for us anyway.
Something else I found that impressed me reading through your website and some of the details we've shared over the years, you've really matched craft cocktails as well with your menu and put some thought into that. And it's certainly been a growing movement, but you've really embraced craft cocktails as well?
Somewhat, yes, we have, and I think that is a movement in a lot of ways, and people are finding, and there's great new spirits that are out there, and we're going to actually doing some partnerships with some of those brand names to do our own private labeling. We've done it before, and then now that pandemic and things where you can actually travel and get back to do barrel tastings and having things labeled for yourself. Are interesting, and I think people are enjoying that. And there's a lot of youth in that in some ways. I mean, certain older people, yeah, they'll come for a compound. They'll want a martini, but they'll just want a certain, give me a goose, give me a Chopin martini. There it is, perfect. But there it is, where the younger crowd, the more people that are coming in now with their parents, are actually coming into town to enjoy Santa Fe for a lot of the arts and things like that. They're the ones who are wanting more of the craft-based cocktails, and we have to find things that are really flavorful. But with some of the volume that we do, we only have a space in our bar. It's actually 12 seats, and one bartender is in there because it's lowered. It's a very interesting space. But you can't have 2 or 3 bartenders. So the things that we are doing are based on a fluidity. They're based on a great flavor. They're based on seasonality, and that they're also based on the time that we have to take them. Because I think that a lot of people, craft cocktails are wonderful, but they don't want to sit there and exactly wait 20 minutes for this person to come over and be trying to make something that's so unique and so special. Not that good things aren't worth waiting for, but nonetheless, there's a timing in it. So we've kind of embraced it on both sides of it, from the taste factor of it, and then we've embraced it from the business side.
Excellent. So something I've noticed, and it's been decades in the industry that has pointed me to this correlation, but restaurateurs who give back to their community become the most successful restaurateurs. And I can name dozens that are a part of the DiRōNA organization who what they can do for the community, whether it's through volunteer or sponsoring or being a part of. And you're one of certainly this list. Regarding community, you're a board member at St. Vincent, if I'm correct, Hospital Foundation, but you also support numerous New Mexico, Santa Fe foundations. Tell me a little bit about getting involved with St. Vincent.
I was asked, and it was something that was really important to me. It really is. I mean, we have a great small community, but we have an amazing hospital that's here in this town, only getting better. We're actually building a new cancer facility. We're part of the Mayo Clinic now and things like that in Santa Fe. And in Santa Fe, New Mexico is a unique location. There's a larger hospital down in Albuquerque and things like that, but this isn't a small town like hospital. It has state-of-the-art equipment. Doctors are coming in here, and we're bringing in more people to actually live here because they find out that And especially after pandemic, we found a lot of new caregivers and docs that want to get out of big cities, and they want to have a family life, and they want to come here and be healthy, and they want to come here and they can ski and hike and bike and have great restaurants and have a great place to live while they are benefiting us. And when you get involved with that, you realize, it's outside of kind of what I do in the restaurant business, but at the same time, it's not outside of the hospitality world, because basically I'm looking to let people enjoy my craft in the restaurant, and yet we're also looking to help people within the hospital, and hopefully they won't need all those services, but if they do, it's state of the art, and there's some great new energy behind that. So when they asked me to kind of be on the board and help fundraise and actually bring business ideas into their hospital, because it's not, healthcare is obviously not what I do, but sitting in the first meeting and you're hearing about staffing, and you're hearing about how do we get them into town, how do we keep them in town, how do we keep them interested in town, and I'm like, oh, okay, I got this. I do this every day. It's the same time trying to find incredibly talented cooks to come live here. And so that's not just what you're making up with the local community, which you have, and you have to have that. There's obviously a stronghold of talent, but you've got to continue to try to bring in better people to better you. And the same thing in the restaurant business. So the hospital was it was an honor. And at the same time, I'm going out. We just had our gala, and huge fundraising, and people were beyond generous. And they see us. I mean, we're one of the few restaurants tours there, so they do see who I am and who we are, and that we continue to support things and have energy behind it, and try and come up with good ideas and get behind things and ask people to help, and people are very helpful here.
Now, one of the causes you support is cooking with kids. Tell me a little bit more about that. It sounds interesting.
There's a local one. I've been part of other ones that are national before, but there's a local cooking with kids. It's a lot of fun, and it's literally just a local program that tries to benefits children through food and kind of getting them interested into some different flavors instead of just McDonald's or pizza or something like that. But we as chefs take our own kids in there, and we as chefs get together and kind of break down the fact that this is fun. And we can have cooking classes, and we can do we can bring in different vegetables or different things that they might not have tried. And if we also teach them, or their parents in some ways, how to boil how to blanch a piece of broccoli or something like that. And if you don't cook everything to death, it's going to be healthier. And at the same time, it's going to be a little more nutritious that they might like it. And we have a lot of kids here that are very, into they have gardens, and the schools have gardens and things like that. We try to get that kind of in our community as well, because a number of schools here don't have cafeterias. So we're trying to instruct them to try to have a better diet, a better start to their morning, a better, meal that they can possibly bring with them that, is better for their mind and kind of makes them feel good about, how they're going to go about their learning day. And that's kind of how you look at it, which is like, it's not just what can they buy, it's also maybe we can have them try to get some things that aren't as expensive or more cost prohibitive and stuff like that for them, and try to give them a new way to look at food can be fun.
Now, no restaurant becomes a success without a great team. One of your teammates is your spouse, Barbara. Am I right? She's right there in the front lines with you.
My wife, my partner, my best friend. Yes, we are one together in this. Now, she's the MBA accountant, so she's the IT. She is the one who does all of the, all the taxes and the business standpoints and the financial part of it. And, but we are together, as one when it comes, and, she's been with the company now 12 years. So that really gives her a chance to, she knows it. The one thing about this town, it's very cyclical. So we really do kind of know, like I said, about the seasons. We know when our high points are, when our low points are, or slower times, so to speak. And so we're prepared for it, every year that we go at it. So that really makes a difference when by my side. Now, does that mean that we're also, you know, we're your owners? There is no day off. They are, on Sunday, it's the restaurant is closed, but she's got all the week sales, everything from Saturday night. How did it go? How'd you do? How did everyone handle it? And then springboards them right into the, if you get Sunday close and then Monday we're back open right now and get them ready for the next, phase of business. So we are, we do this together. We definitely do it together, and it helps.
Yeah, and it certainly shows. You've had nothing but a wonderful success there. We are grateful to have you a part of DiRōNA. I think 2017 was your first award, but there was no question about it when the 16 gold awards were announced earlier this year that the Compound Restaurant was added to the list. You've really built something wonderful.
It's an amazing honor. I mean, DiRōNA is something. I mean, I've known that, and DiRōNA was there. There's before TripAdvisor or Open Table or these other things that are out there that a lot of people think, those awards are kind of, what's important to them and things. And I'm not taking anything away from anyone, but DiRōNA is exactly what it is, and it is a higher level, and you want to play in a high level. And it makes us feel we were very fortunate to get the originals and things like that. And when this came out, and all of a sudden we didn't know that there was a gold, and this was the first year of gold. And you kind of just the Olympics are just over. Gold still matters, and gold is won. So it's an honor. It's just thrilling to us to get that, and it helps us continue our plan. It continues to march on with our community. It helps us continue to be nationally recognized, which is also how we like to play. We compete in town, but the Compound definitely is more of a nationally recognized restaurant, and DiRōNA is a big part of that.
Wonderful. Mark, thank you for joining me today. I know you're a restaurateur, you've got lots to get back to, but thank you for spending the time with us today. It certainly was wonderful for me to learn more about the Compound.
Well, it's an honor and a pleasure. An honor and pleasure to talk to you. An honor and pleasure to have you thinking of us. And again, if you haven't come out to Santa Fe, or if anyone needs to come and have a reason to come see us, I think you just gave us one. So thank you.
No doubt we will. Everyone, always wonderful to enjoy an episode of Every DiRōNA has a story. And again, if you're in Santa Fe, New Mexico, we know where Mark is. Mark's at the Compound Restaurant. Thanks, Mark.